So Dallas loses 44 to 19, and it's a wipeout from start to finish. And I'm watching that game. Now, Dallas, to their credit, unlike the game I'm about to mention, did move the football. Like, they got into field goal range. They didn't capitalize on drives. They weren't good in the red zone. And more on that in terms of Dallas's offense a little bit later. But as I'm watching this game, and I'm watching my quad TV with all the other games, but I'm focusing on the Dallas game, and I'm seeing Derek Carr hit Shaheed on and I've always liked Shaheed, by the way, and I was dead wrong on the Saints. Bomb to Shaheed, and Kamara, go Vols, absolutely running all over the Cowboys defense. And I'm watching that game, and I'm like, this looks like a ChatGPT version of the last time Dallas lost, and matter of fact, the last time they lost at all, the playoff game to the Green Bay Packers. We can show you, by the way, all graphics, all stats provided by StatMuse, all graphics provided by my man Alfred Parsard Jr. We can show you the comparison. It is striking how similar the playoff loss to the Packers was to the game against New Orleans. Look at that. 22 first downs for Green Bay, 24 against the Saints. 24 by the Saints, rather. Packers ran 54 plays. Saints ran 56. Packers had 10 rush first downs. Saints had 15. Both were 60% basically on third down. Both had over 400 yards of offense. Both 7.7 yards per play. It might as well have been the same game. Like, the only difference was that the Cowboys offense didn't get some garbage time yards in their last two drives, and that was it. Where Green Bay comes in, absolutely punches Dallas in the throat and keeps that momentum, doesn't relent from, for the rest of the game. Same case with the Saints yesterday. I mean, what Derek Carr throw? 16 passes? I mean, like, you didn't have to. Like, Derek Carr's stats, had the Saints thrown the ball, may have been a little bit better. He did throw the pick late, but accurate on deep balls. Meanwhile, Alvin Kamara is shredding Dallas's, front set, first line of defense. And it goes to, two major flaws for the Cowboys offseason. Now, I had Dallas as winning the NFC East. I still have them winning the NFC East. They got the best quarterback in that division. I think today, it's the lesser of four evils in terms of coaches in the NFC East. Now, I don't, Dan Quinn, we got to see what he does. Dable, I still believe in more than most, but we'll see. And I certainly buy McCarthy more than I buy Nick Sirianni in Philadelphia. So I think Dallas is still going to win that division almost by default. With that said, it looks like the same team it was a year ago. Now, in some regards, why I picked them to win the division, well, Dak's still great. CD's still great. Micah Parsons, yesterday notwithstanding, is great for the first 75% of the season. And then he tails off at the end. But that's what you get from the Dallas Cowboys. And then after that, they have a very thin roster. Defensively, I mean, this is unbelievable. We showed you the comparison in terms of the loss to New Orleans of loss to Green Bay, how similar that was. New Orleans, 7 plays, 80 yards, touchdown. Next drive, 1 play, 70 yards. That was the bomb to Shaheed. Touchdown. Next drive, 4 plays, 70 yards, touchdown. Next drive, 11 plays, 70 yards, touchdown. Next drive, 3 plays, 20 yards, touchdown. The next drive, 13 plays, 70 yards, almost 8 minutes off the clock, touchdown. And they pretty much call off the dogs from there. Dallas was not going to come back at that point in the game. Dallas gives up touchdown drives 6 times in a row to the New Orleans Saints. Now, some of that credit goes to the Saints. Some of that credit goes, and again, I will say it again on this segment. Saints fans, listen, they were coming after me on social media last night saying, man, apologize for saying the Saints will be dead last in the NFC South. Okay, my bad. I apologize, Saints Nation. I was dead wrong on y'all, okay? Listen, first of all, y'all weren't going to be last because of what Carolina's doing. Second of all, this Kubiak kid, Gary Kubiak's son, he may be a head coach in 2025. That kid is... the creativity. You see a lot of, he's from the Shanahan coaching tree. You see a lot of similarities with the Saints offense and the Niners offense in terms of motion, in terms of their ability to run the football consistently, off the play action with Derek Carr. It's very, very similar. And so a lot of credit goes to New Orleans, and they're way better than I thought they'd be. Like, that team might actually be kind of real in the NFC. We'll see as time goes on that they're going to play the Chiefs at some point this season. That's going to be kind of the litmus test. Saints are a good team. Like, that looks every bit like a playoff team. But for Dallas, they can't stop the run. The last few years, they have not been able to stop the run. Have they improved that with Mike Zimmer? Well, thus far, we're 2 games in, but thus far, no. The Saints ran Alvin Kamara had his game of his life. The last 2 seasons prior to this one, by the way, Alvin Kamara, 10 touchdown rushes. Yesterday, he had almost half that, 4. So he has made almost half as many touchdowns, almost as half as many touchdowns yesterday as he had in the last 2 seasons combined. But the Saints, 39 carries, $190, almost 5 yards a carry, just shoving it down Dallas's throat on a consistent basis. And So Dallas couldn't stop the run. Micah Parsons can't stop the run. That's kind of the book on him. Run at Micah Parsons, run at number 11. Well, they didn't address that in the offseason. And if CeeDee Lamb is not having his best game, the Cowboys offense goes to die. Well, I mean, now Jalen Tolbert made a catch. He caught a ball, a deep ball in the third quarter. That was about all he did, although he did recover a fumble off Dak. So, good on him. If CeeDee Lamb's not open, Dallas has nobody to go to. Now, Jake Ferguson was out, and Ferguson's a solid tight end. Jalen Tolbert, I mean, you had the kid, what's the kid's name? Jalen Brooks, who slips on the first interception that Dak threw, the second pick that Dak threw. He's like, the hell with everybody here. I'm just throwing to CeeDee Lamb, and that's it, and I will live with the results. And again, for the good news, I guess, for Dallas is that, and I've ripped them since 2022 for not going out and getting a true, legitimate, proven, short of elite, number 2 guy to CeeDee Lamb. I've been criticizing them for that for years. And it's, again, the chickens have come home to roost in the last, 5 or 6 games for Dallas or so. If you look at the numbers, the good news is the trade deadline is not for another couple months, and we'll see what the Raiders do. I still don't buy the Raiders this year. Devontae Adams could be available. Now, does it hurt your cap? Yeah, but I mean, the Chiefs have made it work, and the Rams have made it work, and the Niners have made their cap situation work. You can take Devontae Adams for a couple seasons. You can make it work. You pay Dak, spread out the money for Dak, do the same with CeeDee Lamb. Devontae Adams can help you. So I just think it is that loss yesterday really goes back to a lot of the non-decisions that Jerry Jones made as the GM of this football team. And I mean, they haven't been able to stop the run the last few years. They tried to change the defensive coordinator. They still can't stop the run. And then offensively, if Dak and CD are not in sync, or CD is just being double the whole time, which, I mean, listen, Dennis Allen, I've criticized him as a head coach. I still am not terribly high on him. He's a brilliant defensive mind. Very similar to Robert Saleh. He's like, okay, I'm just going to double CeeDee Lamb. You throw to somebody else. Like, if Jalen Brooks and Jalen Tolbert and some of these no-name guys beat us, they beat us. It is what it is. CeeDee Lamb's not going to beat us. He beat us on not a go ball, but caught a ball on the sideline. It was a great throw by Dak into double coverage, and CD did the rest. That was it. That was basically all they did the rest of the game. And I mean, that's to me got to be the big concern if you're a Cowboys fan is, okay, we haven't addressed that position in 2 years. And I've been the first on that for a while, by the way. At this point, you got to go out and get somebody at the deadline. Devontae Adams, who knows, could be available. I still think Devontae is going to get traded at midseason. Whether it's to Dallas or whether to the Jets or to somebody else, we'll see. But I think we're in a spot where this team is the same as it was last year, which for the good qualities of them, it's why I have them winning the division, winning about 10, 11 games and winning the NFC East. The bad side is you run the football right at them. You get creative with these motion plays. Oh, they are done for. And by the way, something else that is really alarming for Dallas is that, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, offensively, you see some signs of life, mostly by Dak. Dak, there was one play where he broke out at 2 sacks and made a nice little shovel to Zeke. Like, Dak's going to play hard from start to finish. I can't say the same about Micah Parsons and some of those Cowboys defenders. I mean, I'm not saying they quit. I'm not going to go that far, but there did seem to be let's just say a lessened sense of effort. And I mean, there's plays where the Saints are scoring standing up. Alvin Kamara is walking into the end zone. If you're getting a touchdown, might as well get it through some physicality, or at least make them get it in a more difficult way. You're at least resisting a little bit. That's to me, that's not as much as on Mike Zimmer as it is on the Cowboys defenders. You can criticize the scheme all you want, and that's fair. Yeah, Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs. I mean, some of these guys, the front 7 especially, just no-showed. Once New Orleans kind of established the run game and Derek Carr was hitting Chris Olave and Shaheed, Dallas just said, okay, fine. You can have whatever you want. Go, have at it. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.